So last night, ESPN announced that they were going to be doing a hit piece on the New England Patriots between Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and Robert Kraft, and it was released at 8 a.m. today. And when it comes to this and all, it's a very lengthy article. So if you are going to read it, I will warn you, it's very long, but it's well written, and it's written by Seth Wickersham and all that. I've never heard of Seth Wickersham at all, but it was a good article, I have to say. It actually brought in some good insight, and I'm just gonna kind of analyze and just talk a little bit about this article right here. And I heard a lot of analysis today on it. I might talk about that. So when it comes to this article and all that, it has to deal with a power struggle a lot, and it has to deal with two sides right here. So on one side you got Bill Belichick, and on the other you have Tom Brady and Robert Kraft. And when it comes to Robert Kraft prefers Tom Brady over Bill Belichick simply because quarterbacks are more important than head coaches. And also, when it comes to popularity, I think more teams gravitate to the quarterback than the head coach. I'll give you, and that is, I think, very true. I think one thing for sure with the Green Bay Packers, I think more people watch the Packers because of Aaron Rodgers and not so much of Mike McCarthy. And that's the reason why Robert Kraft would do it. It doesn't really talk about that in the article and whatnot, but that's definitely something that I think quarterbacks are more important than head coaches. So as the article goes on, talks about this kind of this power struggle, and with the Jimmy Garoppolo trade, there was rumors going on in the 2017 offseason that Bill Belichick would not give up Jimmy Garoppolo even with such a luxurious amount of draft picks, like a lot of high draft picks, like multiple first round picks. Bill Belichick wouldn't give them away. And so all of a sudden, Bill on October 30th, somewhere around Halloween, just gave him away just for a second round pick. So it was a little bit suspicious right there, and obviously like that. And I know Tom Brady is an ageless wonder and all that. It's just like, he's 40 years old. Next season he's going to be 41. You kind of have to invest in the future, and that's kind of one of Bill Belichick's philosophies, which I'll get there. But ideally, Jimmy Garoppolo was definitely viewed as the future of the New England Patriots, kind of viewed to be what Steve Young, Jimmy Garoppolo to Tom Brady was going to be similar to what Steve Young was to Joe Montana, the predecessor, the guy to, or more like the guy to hand off the torch to go on with it. And when it comes to Garoppolo has definitely been playing very, very well with the San Francisco 49ers. And kind of how it goes on in the article, apparently Bill Belichick was talking to Shanahan when he was just recently hired or just recently had the position of the 49ers as running the head coach right there. He was talking with Bill Belichick. And Bill Belichick is close with his father, Mike Shanahan. They're close friends and all that. Mike Shanahan obviously defended him, Belichick, through Deflategate and whatnot, and when the commissioner was attacking him. So obviously he was talking to Kyle Shanahan, and it was very interesting. He was talking about why Shanahan's team, the Falcons, lost the Super Bowl. He was also talking about how Garoppolo could really help him out here, because I think when it comes to this and all, Bill Belichick, he's got his friends here and there, and so with people he's close to, yeah, he's going to be a little bit nicer to, and that just kind of makes sense. I mean, that's just like most people out there. Obviously, if you have your friends, you're probably going to be more open to your friends. You might give your friends a little bit more here and there. You also might give them more shit here and here and there. But at the same time, though, obviously it's a business, and he gave it Jimmy Garoppolo to Kyle Shanahan, obviously, because he's friendly with him. And it just kind of talks about how there's kind of this kind of degree where Belichick really want to keep Garoppolo, and there's actually tension between Brady. Now, the reason why Belichick wants to go with Garoppolo is not so much he wants to get rid of Brady. It's so much of that Brady's up there in age. And apparently, Brady isn't taking this very well. So, Brady's one of these guys who's been the poster child of a Bill Belichick kind of player, a guy that can play under him, a guy that can deal with the pressure of being pushed down by Belichick, the intensity, that militaristic style culture. But all of a sudden, Brady's taking all this criticism from Bill Belichick, and he's just not having any of it, according to this article. Apparently, he thinks Bill should line up because, well, he's won so many Super Bowls for him. He's proved himself already to be such a phenomenal quarterback and all of that. So they're basically saying Brady has this huge ego, and the ego is kind of getting to his head right here and all of that. And then you got the idea of Alex Guerrero, his really sketchy doctor who went to Samra University, I want to say, and he studied in Chinese medicine, so he obviously had the idea. He had this understanding of like these different of alternative medical practices, which I'm just going to call them, not a real term. But ideally, according to Alex Guerrero, and it works, and his proof is Tom Brady. And Alex Guerrero has been working with Brady since 2004. Alex Guerrero has also worked with the former New England Patriots. You probably see him on NFL Network, Willie McGinnis up on there. So obviously they talk, they're friends and all that. And ideally, Alex Guerrero is close with Brady, and Brady really does not like to say no to Alex Guerrero. So Alex Guerrero is one of his real G's. I believe Guerrero is even one of his godfathers of one of Brady's children, I believe. So he's real close with him, and Guerrero's running this really strict, or this really different kind of method of training, medical practice, etc. All this physical fitness, you could say. And what happens is with Alex Guerrero is he's actually going against Bill Belichick's offense. And apparently, when it comes to Bill Belichick isn't really all he says. Apparently, according to Brady, he just tells players just to lift more weights. When it comes to that, just lift more weights. And ideally, Guerrero kind of has this bigger method that a lot of players should use and all that. And so there's this great divide. And maybe yeah, I think a guy like Bill Belichick, who's been in the NFL for over 40 years, probably doesn't like being told about or doesn't like his players kind of going to someone else for it or whatnot and all of that. And obviously, if you don't know about it, but apparently the TB12 store or the TB12 Center, it's 12 TB12 Center. It's not too far away from Foxborough. You can get some membership there. And apparently, the 49ers quarterback now, Jimmy Garoppolo, apparently 2016, when he nursed his injury, was trying to go down to the TB12 area and all of that. And apparently, it was all closed suspiciously, and he just didn't get service. Garoppolo had to call a staff member in New England or a part of the Patriots to contact TB12 Center to let him in. So there might be this competitive thing where he really just doesn't want to see Garoppolo succeed. Like Brady does not want to see Garoppolo succeed, and so what this could lead to is that Brady has all this power and all this control to leave all that. And the fact is, Alex Guerrero is within the Patriots facility. He's been with them for quite a few years by now. I mean, there was a piece that came out in 2014 about how Brady tries to avoid concussions with water and all that. And when it comes to this and all, then Guerrero became very powerful. Maybe Bill Belichick didn't like that. And so just last month, Guerrero has been kicked out, I believe, of any duties, or just a few weeks ago, he's not allowed to be with the New England Patriots and all of that anymore. And he was there for a couple of years, and obviously Bill Belichick's like, nope, I'm done with you, Guerrero. Get out. You're not allowed to be here anymore. And that's one of Brady's kind of guys. And so there's a lot of big tension here, and there's a lot of these cheesy tension where Tom Brady isn't getting Patriot Player of the Week or Patriot of the Week or something, which is some like Player of the Week or something. Like a lot of teams have that, like Iron Man Award. Teams have that. You've probably seen that, like Seahawk of the Week. Probably have that in Seattle. Well, New England, they have Patriot of the Week. Tom Brady hasn't won it all year. Tom feels that he should get more recognition. He thinks Brady should lift up and all of that. And Tom Brady doesn't really like that. So Tom's really taking it against Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick wants to invest into Garoppolo. Apparently, Brady went to Kraft, told Kraft that he wants Jimmy Garoppolo to be traded. I'm the guy. I'm going to be playing for more years. They told Bill Belichick that he needs to trade him, and that after he trades Garoppolo, he's going to have to draft another quarterback and find the next best thing, because Bill Belichick thinks he already found the next best thing in Garoppolo. Now he's told that he has to trade him. It's not really going well with Belichick, and Bill Belichick did it, but he's very, very kind of angry over the fact of it. And there's all this bitterness and all this fightiness that's been going on. And this is interesting. And it's not like in New England, it's not like people don't have debates or arguments and all that. It's not saying that. It's just like New England is so secretive about everything. When a story like this comes out, it's big news. It's big news. And with all their success over the past 2 decades, it's going to be big news. And that's why, obviously, I'm reporting right now. And when it comes to this, I listened to Colin Cowherd's show, which he basically covered, at least it felt like he covered it for at least 2 hours of the show. He might have covered it for 3. I didn't watch the third one. But he was talking about, he's bringing up some interesting series and how if this piece, if you want to talk about it, it basically makes Brady looks bad and it makes Belichick look good. And that makes sense because Seth Wickersham got this source from the New England Patriots staff members, and staff members are probably going to be more favorited to Belichick. And they do say in the article, Brady, obviously, he's not a guy that's disliked, obviously. I think people love Brady, but Brady's typically a little bit more of a loner, you could say. And even some of Brady's friends says he has changed, and these friends are kind of anonymous. They didn't really specify. If you want to read more about this article and whatnot, there's a lot more juicy stuff that I just really didn't get into. But I mean, click down the link if you're interested in all that. But ideally, back to it. I was watching the Herd, and Colin Cowherd, he talked about. He was really talking a lot about how he feels about this, and I think Colin loves this because Colin, obviously, he's a big Patriot supporter. We all know that. Even though he's not a Patriot fan, big Patriot supporter. But one thing for sure, I think out of the Patriots, out of all like the Patriot trio between Kraft, Brady, and Belichick, he definitely favors Belichick out of the 3. And ideally, this piece defends Belichick. So ideally, Colin Cowherd was having field day. Cowherd he absolutely loves the management or the coaches. He always usually goes to their fences a lot. He always talks about them, and he tends to defend them all. I'm not saying he sometimes goes after coaches because he definitely does, but he's definitely more favorited over coaches, and he likes to give coaches a lot of slack and whatnot. And when it came to this, he had some interesting theories, and he had a theory that basically Belichick wants to sabotage the New England Patriots, what I thought was quite interesting. So I obviously had listened, and I thought sabotage definitely seemed strong. And I kind of listened to him. It seemed a little bit of like a conspiracy theory because he's talking about the Monday night game against the Miami Dolphins. So that's the game where the Dolphins beat the Patriots. It's also the game where Gronk was suspended on his late hit against Tre'Davious White, I want to say. And when it came to this on Monday night, the Patriots lost, and I think that the Dolphins won on all sides of the football. Good win by the Dolphins. But what happens is they think that Bill Belichick purposely let the New England Patriots lose that game. Purposely. I'm thinking to myself, purposely let them lose that game. I'm like, okay, go on. He said that basically he didn't start many offensive players and all of that. And the fact is he just let Brady be Brady and let's see what Brady looks like without all this talent around him. And let's see what he's going with. Because this is obviously a month or so after they traded away Garoppolo. And Brady did not have a good game. I believe they did not convert on a third down at all that game. Like they were the first team in like almost 30 years to do it or something ridiculous like that. And what happened was Brady did not have a great game. And I was just thinking to myself, that's the game where Bill Belichick's trying to sabotage the Patriots. I think he's absolutely crazy for the game. This is a conspiracy theory. And I have my theories here and there on my YouTube, so I'm not going to hammer him conspiracy. But I think this conspiracy theory can be knocked down. Can just be knocked down in so many different ways. I think, number one, the Patriots are significantly better than the Dolphins, and sometimes when teams feel like they're significantly better than the others, they're not really going to try as hard, maybe because that's how players feel, and also coaches, they're not really going to show their best plays. Obviously, I feel like coaches are going to show some of their more deadly plays and their more lethal plays during the postseason. I'll give you an example, like the New England Patriots, for instance. In 2014 playoffs, you didn't start seeing the 4 offensive lineman formation until the playoffs came around. You weren't seeing that in the regular season where it was like Patriots, Jets. No, you were seeing that in the playoffs when it was Patriots, Ravens. There's a big difference right there. And ideally, I feel like, well, obviously he's not going to have the best game plan in the world. Also, Rob Gronkowski was suspended, and Gronk has had a phenomenal year this year. This is one of Gronkowski's best years, and the fact that he wasn't on the field this game is definitely going to play a big toll right there. And number two, obviously, their game plan was really to run the ball and throw the ball deep to Cook. Well, first things first, the Miami Dolphins have a good front seven. They definitely do. I mean, Cameron Wake, and then you got Ndamukong Suh. Obviously, those are quality players right there. And not only that, it's going to be hard to run the ball on that. In New England, yeah, they had some struggles on the offensive line and whatnot. And if you're going to throw it deep to Brandon Cooks, obviously, I think one way to slow down Brandon Cooks, not the biggest guy to go, you're going to press him on the line of scrimmage. It made sense. It was a good game by the Dolphins. And there wasn't much you could, I guess, really do. I guess you could do some more schematic things right here and there, but it just didn't feel as if that Bill was trying to go after this huge schematic kind of way just to beat the Dolphins. I think another point is it's a Monday night football game, okay? They're going to be on a shorter week, and the next Sunday game was going to be a lot more significant because they're going to play the Pittsburgh Steelers at Pittsburgh. And to top it off, that's why they're not going to start a lot of their offensive players. Or players that are not going to get much playing time. They're not going to play Danny Amendola. They're not going to play Chris Hogan. Let's give them some rest. Give those players some rest because the Steelers game means a lot more than the Dolphins game. It's just the truth. I think that played a big role. So I think when Colin Cowherd says that Bill Belichick's trying to sabotage, it's absolutely ridiculous. And one more point about Colin Cowherd's comment of him sabotaging it, because the rest of Colin Cowherd's thing was phenomenal. I think he was absolutely right about it. And he was the first guy I heard said about that Belichick wanted Garoppolo and Kraft wanted Brady and all that. There's this power struggle. I agree with him 100%. But when it comes to the sabotage thing, this is the icing on the cake. If he wanted to truly sabotage the Patriots, he wouldn't even trade away Garoppolo at all. He would refuse to trade Garoppolo, wait until the offseason, and let him walk in free agency. That's a better way to sabotage the Patriots. And overall, when it talks about it, is there's also this big thing that's going out there is Bill Belichick might leave the coach for the New York Giants. Now, the New York Giants is obviously, I think, definitely do hold a big place to his heart in the football life, his Bill Belichick's own football life. He talks about how he went to the Meadowlands, and he was at the Meadowlands final game there, and he was there. He was just talking about how, wow, this place really, how it means a lot to him because he was the defensive coordinator for the New York Giants when they won the 2 Super Bowls under Parcells. So obviously the Giants mean something there, and also Giants need a new head coach. Makes sense. You would go there and whatnot, and you get the second overall pick. So it's a good bargain right there. But ideally, I've heard this theory before. I think that's quite interesting. But I think he's going to return to New England because I look at the Panthers. I think Gettleman's going to be the GM. You look at Belichick. Belichick is one of these guys who wants control of everything. I don't think he wants to have some other guy giving him to be in charge of the personnel. I think Bill Belichick wants to be in charge of everything. Because when he's in New England, he's the head coach and the general manager. If he goes to the Giants, he's just the head coach. I think he wants to be more than just the head coach. And when it comes to Belichick and Brady and all that, there's rumor that they're going to retire pretty soon, or at least the trio's coming in. They even discussed in the article that they feel like the end is near, and to a little bit that might be the case. I mean, McDaniels might leave to go somewhere else to get a coaching job. Matt Patricia, I heard it's likely that they can leave. I heard Brian Flores is getting interviewed for a job. Nick Cassier can either go with McDaniels and Patricia. I've also heard of their offensive lineman, Dante Scarnecchia, who's been there since the 80s. He might retire and all that. So there's all this rumors going around that's going on, and it's a really juicy story, especially right before career. Very, very juicy story. So to put this in perspective, when it comes to ESPN article, if you're interested in the story, I definitely suggest you reading. There's some other stuff right here where Bill Belichick was talking about how he's hammering Brady in one of the games where he had Brandon Cooks open on a deep route, didn't throw to Brandon Cooks. Instead, he threw it to Chris Hogan, and then Chris Hogan got injured and whatnot, and Bill Belichick hammered him there. He hammered Brady after the win against the Houston Texans in the divisional round playoffs of 2016. But obviously, he just annihilated Brady, and Brady feels as if that he deserves better treatment, yada, yada, yada. There's a lot more juicy stuff that I just tagged on to, but basically I just summed up the gist of the article. It's Brady and Kraft versus Belichick, a little bit of a power struggle. So What do you guys think? Leave your comments down below. So see you guys next time, and Happy New Year, and I hope you enjoy the playoffs. Peace.